Right, hello everybody, welcome back to the assembly area. Now it's one of my favourite races. The Silhouettes are about to go out for their second race of the weekend. Quite a lot to look out for in this one as well. From yesterday's results, the top 7 are reversed, so that means Russell Humphrey is on pole position for this one. Certain things to look out for as well. Keith White, he's the only driver to have finished all 9 races this season, and the championship looks like this. Dan Smith is your leader, narrowly leads his brother Lewis Smith, but if Lewis wins today, he'll go above him in the table, so quite a lot to look out for. Now I've come down here to talk to Philip Young because it's an old Mitsubishi Colt. I used to have one of these. Well, my first car was a Mitsubishi Colt, but if you look at the side, it says Mr. Cheese on the side. Philip, your name definitely isn't Mr. Cheese, but where's it come from?
It's in my youth. It's my nickname because I always had a bit of a problem with embarrassing itching, let's just say that. So,
oh no.
Always scratching, and then they all called me Mr. Cheese.
What are we expecting from this race then? Because we're a little bit unsure, aren't we? It's still wet out there, it's still damp, isn't it? But there might be a bit of a dry line starting to form.
Yeah, well, just hopefully just keep it on the black stuff. It depends, there's a big black cloud just over there.
Yeah.
It's just really a lottery, really. You're on the right tyres or you're not. So I've got 2 of each. So hopefully I've covered my bases.
Well, actually, just as we're talking, it's just starting to rain a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the trouble. You stand out there and you go, shall I, shan't I? And then it starts raining again. So that's it, really.
Well, look, best of luck, and as I say, that is starting to chuck it up. Philip, thank you so much. You know when you asked me about the story, and sometimes you wonder, maybe I shouldn't have asked that, but never mind. There we go. Right, Silhouette's about to get underway, and as you can see, as we're talking, it is starting to absolutely hammer it down. Oh boy, this is going to be exciting. It is the second race of the weekend for the Silhouettes. Dave, over to you.
Well, thanks very much indeed, Ian, and thank you to Phil Young, Mr. Cheese there. Now we know why he's called that. I'm not sure we wanted to find that out, to be quite honest. He's in the ex-Dave Longhurst Mitsubishi Colt. 20 years since Dave won the National Hot Rod World Final in that very car. Let's have a look at the grid then. Top 7 reversed from yesterday's race, and it is number 51, Russell Humphrey with the Tigra, who will be on pole alongside the similar machine at number 3, Paul Knight. Keep an eye on him, had an overall win at Mallory Park earlier this year. Second row, 196, Dave York, and number 38, Keith White, took his first win in the seniors category yesterday. First win of the season. He does lead the seniors points to the drivers aged 45 and over. Row 3, number 6, Ian Hales, alongside 33, Daniel Smith, his brother on row 4, Lewis Smith, yesterday's winner. They're fighting for the lead of the championship overall at the moment. Lee Rogers, the ex-pickup racer, 8th on the grid. First appearance of the season for him. He told us all he'd retired from racing, but a one-off appearance in Brian Loram's Tigra this weekend. Row 5, Scott Apriliano in his Peugeot 206. Starts alongside Mick Robertson in the VW Corrado, number 52. Row 6 is the man we just heard from, number 21, Philip Young in the Colt, alongside 267, John Price. On row 7 is Baz Johnson, number 9, in the Grand National Coupe, another ex-oval racing car of many years ago. I said yesterday I didn't think any of those still existed anywhere. Alongside number 14, Phil Spinks with his Tigra. He unfortunately ended up in the gravel at chicane on the last lap of yesterday's race. And then we've got the cars that didn't finish yesterday. Richard Smith, he's the father of Lewis and Daniel, had a few spins yesterday in his Mercedes. Starts alongside 128 Dan Fisher, pickup truck racing regular in Chris Ayling's Vauxhall Tigra. Row 9, Philip Blackford in the Peugeot 206, and the similar car Reuben Taylor. He had an off and brought out the safety car at the old hairpin yesterday, stuck in the gravel. Row 10, Fabio Lofarelli in his VW Corrado. That's an invitation class car. He's got a motorcycle engine in his Corrado. And Stephen Phillips starting at the back in his Autocross Fiesta. I'm just taking a look at the grid as they head back out onto the rolling lap. Just checking to see if anybody is missing. 2 Peugeots there towards the back. Yes, the Autocross Fiesta is there at the back, number 523 of Stephen Phillips. We'll double check if anybody else is missing as they come round. One car we won't see out there is 491 Colin Smith. His Ginetta blew its engine, unfortunately, in qualifying yesterday. I think everybody else is there. It's going to be decidedly wet and slippery once again for these space frame machines. So there is Russell Humphrey on pole position, the yellow and blue Tigra. Used to race a BMW M3 at various endurance and GT events, Russell Humphrey, so he's used to plenty of power. It's Paul Knight, the white and blue car. Dave York, number 196, the grey and orange car, runs P&D York Travel, a coach company based in Cannock in Staffordshire. And then Keith White has been racing his famous BMW Z4 Coupe in events like this for many years. Ian Hales is there. Then we've got the Smith brothers and Lee Rogers. It's the Smiths that have done the majority of the winning so far this year. And their father, Richard Smith, competing in the seniors category further back, all from Billericay in Essex. There is Richard, the maroon Mercedes. We unofficially named him Billericay Dicky yesterday. And he had a few spins yesterday before retiring. There's Fabio Laffarelli, the green Corrado from the southwest. Competes regularly in the Welsh Sports and Saloon Car Championship, that machine, as do Tyrone and Melissa Laffarelli, with a Space Frame Mini and a Peugeot 106 over the last few years. It's been a 15-minute race for the Intermarque silhouettes. There's Lewis Smith, the white Mercedes, yesterday's winner. Here we go then, the revs begin to rise in markedly different conditions from yesterday. We are going to do an extra green flag lap. The race not getting underway just yet because of the wet conditions. They qualified and raced in the dry yesterday, so with the change in weather, an extra green flag lap. A few of the drivers further back almost seemed to not get the message there. They were up to speed. The clock, you can see, has started, so the race effectively has started. We're going to start behind the safety car because it is getting very wet very rapidly out there. So the race is going to start behind the safety car. And we effectively are underway in racing. You can see the green lights flashing. Paul Knight very close to the back of the safety car there as they come through the old hairpin. Lee Rogers in the black and orange car. That's Brian Laram's Tigra, the motorcycle dealer from Devon. Lee Rogers, he said he retired from racing this year, but many years ago Lee Rogers and Brian Laram had a swap deal in the hot rods for a meeting down at one of the auto speed races. I think that was at Taunton, quite possibly at Smithart Stadium. And they've swapped back again this weekend. It's Lee Rogers, number 69 in the pickup truck championship. Phil Spinks, number 14, the black Tigra. Could be a contender for senior honours here. He unfortunately spun it into the gravel on the last lap yesterday. The smaller hatchback Peugeot look out for as well, Scott's Apriliano. Carl Boardley was very successful in one of those in national hot rod racing in a 206. Now is a TCR touring car racer, of course. Try and pull up 2x2 then. The safety car is coming in this time, so we'll be underway in racing with just under 13 minutes on the clock. Here we go, the pack about to be unleashed. Oh, John Price a bit slow off the chicane now. That's created a bit of a gap in the field. As here we go then, we're underway in green flag racing down towards Redgate. It's a good start by Paul Knight. Russell Humphrey covering the inside. Look at Keith White having a go up the inside in the BMW Z4, number 38, but it's Humphrey who's got the lead. Keith White, his brother Colin, very famous for his Ginetta racing, himself a former National Hot Rod World Champion. Look at the spray as they head down towards the Craner curbs. It's Russell Humphrey who's held his lead from pole position. Here comes Lewis Smith with a big aggressive dive at Dave York there down the Craners. They're side by side for fourth position. Smith going round the outside. Oh, brilliant. Up into a fourth position. And Paul Knight 3 wide there. Paul Knight slowed down. Off they go. Paul Knight is off. Contact with Keith White. That's allowed Lewis Smith, I think, into second place. Now, it looked to me as though Paul Knight was slowing there. And that's what caused that 3 wide moment. And a bit of contact to sent him off. So it's Lewis Smith now second. David York is third. Daniel Smith fourth. And we'll try and pick up the rest of the pack. Lee Rogers is there. He's in P6. Who's that's come through into 5th. Is that Keith White? Yeah, he's still going in 5th place. Apriliano is 7th, but it's Lewis Smith. Has he taken the lead? Not quite. He's in P2 at the moment behind Russell Humphrey in the number 51 Tigra. There is the Lee Rogers car, or Brian Laram's car, driven by Lee Rogers. Scott Apriliano goes round the outside of him into the chicane. Phil Spinks, number 14, up behind them. A big twitch from the Peugeot. Over the line they go. And I think the safety car's coming out. I saw the board there in the background. Yeah, safety car is coming out because somebody's gone off somewhere. Now, who hasn't come through? It's I think it's number 88, Philip Blackford, that's gone off. He hasn't come through on the first lap. Ian Hales has disappeared as well. It's saying out lap on the we'll see again here. There's the incident which took out Paul Knight and Keith White. There's Knight going off, so it may well be for his car. Yes, he's in the gravel on the outside of Schwantz Curve, so that'll probably be the reason for the safety car. Ian Hales is showing his outlap, so he may have started from the pits. There's Ian Hales, I think. That's him at the back. Mick Robertson, at the top right of your picture there, is in the pit lane in the Corrado. Yes, there's Ian Hales, so I think he started from the pits. There's your leader, Russell Humphrey, behind the safety car. The safety car is out. We've lost Philip Blackford on that first lap, and Paul Knight as well, the number 3. That's a shame for Paul Knight, because he was up there in 2nd place, but suddenly he seemed to slow coming out of the old hairpin. And as Keith White and Lewis Smith went to make their move to go past him, Keith White got squeezed in the middle into Paul Knight's car. That's what sent him going wide onto the grass and into the gravel. So Russell Humphrey leads from Lewis Smith. It's David York in 3rd. Then Daniel Smith in the blue Mercedes. Keith White is still there in 5th. And behind him, it's I think it's Apriliano's Peugeot. No, he's dropped behind Phil Spinks, so Spinks next in the order. There's Lee Rogers, then Apriliano. And behind them, that is the Peugeot of Ruben Taylor. He ended up in the gravel yesterday. Next is the 128, which is Chris Ayling's car, being driven by Dan Fisher. Then we've got Laffarelli, Baz Johnson in the Grand National Coupe, John Price, Richard Smith, and Phil Young, Mr. Cheese. There's Steve Phillips, Ian Hales, Mick Robertson's rejoined from the pits. The safety car brings them round. Yeah, so we're told Ian Hales stopped on the green flag lap just before the chicane, then came into the pits to fix a problem. And we're told by Rod Birley, who's down in pit lane, some drivers have a mixture of slicks and wets on their cars. That's a rare thing in UK motorsport. It might be the right thing to do today, though. Of course, Avon tyres, the sponsors of this series, and Image wheels, because of wheels particularly for oval race cars for many years now. Pack heads round behind the safety car. You can see just on the extreme left of your picture there, Paul Knight's car being towed away. Now, the telehandler there tows him out. Is he going to get going again? The number 3? Or is he going to be towed into the gap over there in the barriers by Starkey's Bridge? Now, it looks like, yes, the latter option is being followed. Mick Robertson we saw make his way into the pits. He stopped to change onto full wet tyres, so we'll see if that works for the Corrado. We had 1 or 2 drivers doing that in the CNC Heads Sports and Saloon race yesterday as well, stopping for a tyre change. And let's have a look if the lights have gone out on the safety car. No, they haven't yet, so I think we're going to do one more lap. It's Keith White, BMW none the worse for that collision. Still Russell Humphrey out front. Can he hang on for his first Silhouette victory? Quite a change from a BMW M3 into one of these Silhouette cars, the Tigra. Used to share his BMW with Mark Wyatt, so they were very successful in the Castle Combe GT series down in Wiltshire. There's Lee Rogers. His wife Annie Rogers used to run a chocolate business. So produced some very tasty business, very tasty products indeed. The Chocolate Pizza Company was the former name of her business. Lights still on at the moment. It's following a similar pattern to yesterday's race. We had the safety car out there when Ruben Taylor went off on the Craner curves. Have we lost any other cars? Just double check the timing screen. No, just the two. We've got 8 cars running. There's Baz Johnson in the Pontiac Coupe, the effectively a miniature NASCAR. Steve Phillips in that remarkable looking autocross Fiesta. That's another ex-HUD family car. Okay, the lights are out atop the safety car, and we get ready for the resumption of racing. We're about 4.5 minutes, so we should get about 3 laps of racing out of this. Can Russell Humphrey hang on for his maiden win in the Tigra, the Interceptor Racing Cup? Here we go then. Pace car pulls off, safety car pulls off, and away they go. It's getting a little bit drier out there, I think. Still slippery though, and here comes Lewis Smith. He's going with Russell Humphrey. He's going to try and go around the outside into Redgate. He's sliding under braking. Have to be very, very careful. That's brave from Lewis Smith. Russell Humphrey doesn't give him any room, puts him out onto the curb almost. David York in third, then Daniel Smith is in fourth. Well, if that's had worked there for Lewis Smith, it would have been the move of the weekend, but it didn't quite. Didn't find the room on the outside. Down to the old hairpin. Humphrey leads it. Lewis Smith going for the inside. He's going to try and do a Ryan Smith. He goes through. Now, can he hold it on the exit? Yes, he's got it. Russell Humphrey fighting back. Oh, they're really going at it here, and Russell Humphrey goes straight past him. That Tigra's going superbly in these slippery conditions. David York in third, then there's Dan Smith, fifth is Keith White, and up the inside again under braking for McLean's Lewis Smith. Can he turn it back in time? This time he's got it, surely. What a brilliant battle between these two. Meanwhile, the seniors class is still led by Keith White ahead of Phil Spinks. The battle for the overall lead. This is absorbing stuff. Lewis Smith leads the way, looking for his second win of the weekend from P7 on the grid. And here comes Russell Humphrey trying to fight back. They're being reeled in by Dave York as well, the Staffordshire driver. 3 minutes of racing to go through the chicane. The sun's coming out now as Lewis Smith, who's competed in the VW Racing Cup in a Volkswagen Scirocco a couple of years ago before returning to the Intermarque Silhouette racing world, leads the way. There's Dan Smith in fourth. If Lewis wins this, as Ian told us earlier, he'll take the lead of the championship from his brother at the top. Keith White still leads the senior points, looking for his second class win of the weekend, but Phil Spinks having a good go at him. This could be for the seniors class lead here. Behind them is Ruben Taylor. Fabio Laffarelli still leads the invitation class, he's in P10. Third of the seniors, John Price, the Dayglow orange and white Tigra. Similar livery to that used by Gordon Bland in the 1990s. Further back there's Ruben Taylor, the number 49 from Somerset in his Peugeot Coupe. Up the hill they come. Behind Taylor in P7 we've got Apriliano, who's gone ahead of Rogers. Laffarelli rounds out the top 10. Lewis Smith starting to pull away now just a little from Russell Humphrey. So under 2 minutes of this race still to go. See how long's left as they cross the line. going through to complete 6 laps. See the amount of spray, even though the sun is beginning to come through the clouds once again. 6 laps completed by our race leader. Yes, the gap's up to over 2 seconds now, and round the outside, Phil Spinks. That's a brilliant move on the brakes. And against a driver with the experience and calibre of Keith White, that is very impressive indeed. From Phil Spinks in the Tigra. They're both ex-national hot rod racers, so they're used to passing on the outside. And who's coming up behind them now? It's Reuben Taylor. And Phil Spinks, that's for the lead of the seniors class as well. So Phil looking to make up for his non-finish yesterday with a class win. Down towards the Craner curves, that menacing black Vauxhall Tigra. Phil Spinks used to race, I remember, Citroen Saxo in national hot rods. You didn't see many of them about. Mikey Godfrey had some successes with one as well, the occasional Motorsport News columnist. There's Lee Rogers, Luffarelli in the green Corrado. Then we've got Dan Fisher being chased by Ian Hales, who had a problem at the start and has had to fight his way through. He's up to P12 now. Still 18 cars left running in this second race of the weekend for the Intermarque Silhouette Series. There's our invitation class runner. That's the autocross Corrado of Fabio Luffarelli, based down in the far southwest of England. That's the motorcycle engine car. All the others 2-litre engines. Luffarelli with a 1-litre engine. Over the line they come. The checkered flag comes out slightly early. So the flag comes out slightly early. There are only a few seconds left on the clock there, so the officials opting to bring the flag out early. So Lewis Smith is your winner, ahead of Humphrey, York, and Phil Spinks has come through for third. We've lost Daniel Smith, the number 33, so that might be why the flag has come out early. We have lost Daniel Smith's Mercedes, so if he's gone off, that'll be why the race has been flagged early rather than bring out another safety car. We'll try and pick up on that if we can. Okay, so we'll try and establish what has happened there. And Scott Aprigliano, I don't think he realised the race has finished. He nearly spun it there coming into the old hairpin. So it's a win for Lewis Smith, 2 for the weekend, and that means he'll take the lead of the championship. Russell Humphrey in second, and David York takes third. 7 laps completed, the winning margin 3 seconds. Phil Spinks wins the senior class. He timed that move to perfection to take 4th into the chicane, ahead of Keith White to win the class. Daniel Smith has now reappeared in the times there. Did we just miss him coming through and his transponder failed? Okay, so Dan Smith. What's happened to Keith White? Just in the background there. He's spun at McLean's after the checkered flag. It's all happening here at Donington. Okay, so Dan Smith, it looks as though his transponder failed there. Yes, he was. My mistake there, didn't see him come through. So we'll confirm the results officially in a second. We thought he hadn't come through over the line there. I was a bit thrown there by the checkered flag coming out early. I do apologise. So Lewis Smith has won it, ahead of Humphrey and York. Dan Smith was 4th. And Phil Spinks does win the senior class in P5. And as I say, Dan Smith has come to a halt there after the flag. See him on the left there. But he did cross the line. Stop trying to confuse me more than I already am. Oh dear, sorry about this everyone. I know it doesn't take much to confuse me. The rest of the result, Reuben Taylor 7th, ahead of Scott Aprigliano. Lee Rogers and Fabio Luffarelli round out the top 10. Then Ian Hales coming through from the back for P11. Then Dan Fisher, Mick Robertson after his pit stop, and John Price in 14th. Richard Smith was 15th. And then Baz Johnson, Phil Young and Steve Phillips completed the finishers. We lost Paul Knight and Phil Blackford on lap 1. Okay. So next up on track, there's going to be a short break while the International Truck Prix competitors have their qualifying session. So we're just going to take a few minutes break while that takes place. And we'll take a look at a few of the drivers during that session, hopefully, before our next race, which is the CNC Head Sports and Saloon Car Championship, a series celebrating its 40th birthday this year. There are a few drivers who raced yesterday that we won't see in today's race, sadly, due to problems yesterday. Well, I can see Daniel Smith, his car did fail, but after the checkered flag, fortunately, something's happened there. He's pulled up at the entry to Swamps Curve. Keith White spun after the checkered flag as well.
Right, everybody, here we are, Park Ferme. I'm here with Lewis Smith as well. And I think, actually, Lewis, we're going to let Rob Birley do the maths, but that might put you to the top of the championship. But it was quite chaotic there, wasn't it?
It was. It was a chaotic start, but we was having no prisoners. We was moving position straight away. So, but the visibility is terrible when you're following cars. So, the quicker you can get through, the better.
Now, there's quite a lengthy safety car period as well. Did that help things, or did it hinder?
I mean, it helped. It shortened the race down, but yeah, no, it was a nice restart. We got away and managed to get past Russell.
It's been quite a good weekend for you. Enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been good actually. It's an eventful weekend really. We've had 2 wins. Qualified second, so yeah, we can't grumble at that.
That's it. Now you can go relax and enjoy the rest of the day now that the sun's finally decided to come out.
Yeah, that's it. We've got to go and load up now, so hopefully get home.
Lewis, well done. I think Matt probably wants to have a chat with you as well. I was chatting to Russell. In fact, here he is. Russell, let's finally have a chat, shall we? You and me were a little bit lonely in here for a while, weren't we? Because a bit of confusion at the end.
There seemed to be some confusion. I saw the checkered flag, but no one else did. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you were definitely classified as second. So.
Yeah, there was time to go on the clock apparently, but the flag was out, so yeah, take that.
Now, he started on pole, of course. Lewis just a little bit of extra pace at the end. The safety car, did it help you, or did it knock rhythm a bit for you?
I think that first start I got away, and I couldn't see anyone behind me. I thought, this is great, love this. And then the safety car, typical, because I ain't going to hold Lewis up. He's class, so
he's quick.
Yeah, he is quick, and I'm just out here having some fun, and yeah, that was great. Loved it.
There you go. You got another little pot to go home with, and you can fill it with a bit of champagne now because you don't have to drive for the rest of the day.
I've got to drive home.
Oh, okay, so that don't non-alcoholic then. Well done, Russell, thank you. That's actually it for the Intermarque Silhouette Series for the weekend.